You won't believe this, Solana is bringing XRP on chain as a wrapped asset for DeFi, and Ripple, Paxos, BitGo, and many other companies get approved for bank trust charters. This is huge news for the crypto industry, but the banking sector is not happy. I'll give you the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, huge day today for the crypto industry. So the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which this week gave banks the ability to participate in crypto transactions, well, they granted conditional approval for trust bank charters for Ripple, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, Paxos, and Circle. Amazing. This is one of the big landmark moments for the crypto market where these companies are getting these bank licenses. It's amazing. And here's some more details from Eleanor Tarrant about this. So she said the OCC conditional approval span both newly created national trust banks and state chartered trust companies converting into the federal system. The newly created approvals are Ripple, National Trust Bank, and First National Digital Currency Bank, which is Circle. The other three are state to national conversions: BitGo, Bank and Trust, Fidelity Digital Assets, and Paxos Trust Company. Comptroller Jonathan Gould said each application received a standard rigorous review and that each company must meet additional conditions before fully becoming operational. He added that new entrants help modernize and diversify the banking system and broaden access to innovative financial products. Incredible. So big week for the OCC in the approvals and the guidance they are providing. This is huge. Here's what Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse had to say about the news. He says, huge news. Ripple just received conditional approval from the OCC to charter Ripple National Trust Bank. This is a massive step forward, first for RLUSD, setting the highest standard for stablecoin compliance with both federal, which is the OCC, and state, which is the New York DFS, oversight. To the banking lobbyists, your anti-competitive tactics are transparent. You've complained that crypto isn't playing by the same rules, but here's the crypto industry directly under the OCC's supervision and standards, prioritizing compliance, trust, and innovation to the benefit of consumers. What are you so afraid of? So we know the banks have been really fighting back against crypto. They have been adopting crypto, but they're trying to control it, right? So we saw they're going after DeFi. We saw Citadel's letter to the SEC. They've been trying to stop stablecoin yield, where you can earn higher interest in yield on exchanges, by participating in stablecoin activities versus what you're getting in their checking and savings accounts. We've talked about that ad nauseum. So Brad is calling out the banking folks because they're hypocrites, right? On one hand, they're saying crypto is not regulated. They get regulated. Now they're saying, no, we must stop what they're doing, right? It's pathetic, but disruptions at their doorstep. And here's an example they put out today, the American Bankers Association. They put out a whole write-up, the ABA's statement on the OCC's announcement regarding national trust charter. So they went through, this is going to be so risky and this and that. They're trying to stop these crypto companies from taking their lunch. But, this is how it is. The incumbents are going to fight, but it's pretty clear that they're being hypocrites and they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. Now, some other big news around Ripple. Amina Bank Global is the first European bank to go live with Ripple payments. This partnership provides a crucial, compliant bridge between traditional fiat and blockchain rails, solving a major friction point for crypto-native clients who need efficient cross-border transactions. This is the next step in our expanding relationship with Amina Bank, building on their earlier adoption of RLUSD. Our commitment to delivering secure, compliant, and resilient digital asset technology continues to advance the wider adoption of crypto in Europe and beyond. So Ripple doing some big things, and this bank trust charter is huge for them. And I love that the OCC approved all of these folks together. So for example, they didn't approve Ripple first or Circle first. They all get approval on the same day. So it makes for a level playing field. Let the competition heat up and we'll see who are the winners, right? So this is huge, huge news. Look at this news. This is massive. Interactive Brokers now accepts stablecoins in a bid to remain competitive. Yesterday I talked to you guys about the SEC giving the DTCC the no action letter to start tokenizing and custody assets and much more. And you're just seeing big players, man. And obviously, JP Morgan, they announced this week they've tokenized on Solana. We're just seeing the biggest of the biggest names getting involved in crypto here. So, Interactive Brokers will now allow retail investors to fund individual brokerage accounts with stablecoins, a step aimed at keeping pace with the increasingly competitive retail trading market, Bloomberg reported on Friday. The Greenwich, Connecticut-based brokerage firm competes with rivals including Robinhood Markets, Charles Schwab Corp. Charles Schwab, they said they're going to launch crypto trading in 2026, by the way, in the first half. And earlier this year, expanded its cryptocurrency capabilities or trading capabilities alongside its offerings of stocks, options, and futures. Everybody's got to capitulate. Everybody's got to bend the knee. It is inevitable. This asset class is here to stay, and it's amazing to see what's happening. And in fact, I mentioned the DTCC news. They put out a video today talking about this. And if you know who the DTCC is, folks, this is massive. I mean, it is huge. So crypto is winning. We are in the then you win phase, right? Even though these banks are trying to lobby, they're trying to stop certain things, but they've lost. And we know they're trying to influence the Clarity Act, the crypto market structure bill. They're even trying to influence the Genius Act as far as the implementation, right? They don't like the stablecoin yield. They want to keep all the yield for themselves, but they don't want to give you anything. That's what's happening here. But like I said, crypto's winning. Folks, this episode is brought to you by Propy, which is leading the charge with putting real estate on chain. I'm a Propy token holder. I have been since 2018. When I discovered Propy, I recognized what they were doing in bringing blockchain to the real estate market, and I bought the token. I remember buying it on Bittrex. And folks, you can buy and sell real estate on Propy for cryptos. If you want to sell your house for Bitcoin, you want to buy a house for Bitcoin, you can do that on Propy. And of course, the platform is powered by blockchain and also AI. So they're doing some amazing things. They have been around since 2015. They've facilitated over $5 billion in deals. And for the buying and selling, they use Coinbase for the crypto escrow. And billionaire investor Tim Draper is an investor in this platform, and he's a big believer in it. And once again, folks, I am too. And they've put deeds on chain. They've created NFTs for properties. They're doing a lot of great stuff. So I'm very bullish on Propy, guys. And we all know real estate is going on chain, and Propy is leading that charge. So check him out. Go learn about what they're doing. We know this is the future, right? All assets will be on the blockchain. So you got to learn about what Propy is doing. So go to propy.com. The link will be in the description. Now, folks, we got huge Solana news. Yesterday we talked about JP Morgan tokenizing on Solana, right? Issuing a commercial paper, which in itself is huge on many levels. But Solana is getting incredible adoption. Earlier this year, I should say a couple of months back, we heard about Western Union building their stablecoin on Solana. Well, the Solana firedancer upgrade is officially live on Solana mainnet and has been running on a handful of validators for 100 days, successfully producing 50,000 blocks. This is a huge update for Solana, so a massive, massive win here. And look at this, even more adoption news. Figure has filed a second IPO request with the SEC, aiming to become the first company to issue its stock directly on Solana. Folks, many of you know I hold Solana. I was buying it in late December 2022, early January 2023, the lows, because I saw it as something to diversify in. And, that's going to pay off, I believe. It's already paid off, as far as the price appreciation. But the adoption Solana is getting here is incredible. And I think this chain is going to perform really well. And I'm just presenting the facts, folks. Look at the adoption that's happening. JP Morgan, a lot of people tokenizing and building on Solana now. And look at this news. XRP is coming to Solana. This was a surprising news of the day. So Hex Trust and Layer Zero will bridge and issue WXRP, so wrapped XRP, a Solana DeFi ready token redeemable at any time for 1-to-1 XRP on the XRP ledger. Huge news. I've had the co-founder and CEO of Hex Trust on the podcast many times over the years. I'm going to try to get him back on. It's been a couple of years since he's been on, but this is incredible. Once again, a lot of people were surprised by this. So they said here, the Solana folks, XRP has stood the test of time and cemented itself as one of crypto's preeminent and most liquid cryptocurrencies. XRP's long-standing utility meets Solana high-performance execution. With significant day one liquidity, traders, holders, and institutions can use XRP within leading Solana decentralized exchanges, lending markets, and liquidity protocols while maintaining exposure to the underlying asset and 24/7 XRPL redemption rights. So huge news here. And this is akin to what Flare is doing with FXRP and also Coinbase, what they're doing on Base with CBXRP, right? So it's a wrapped version of the assets. And this is really good for the DeFi ecosystem. So I think it's really good for XRP. It's getting exposure and placement on different chains and different ecosystems. So that only benefits the asset. So I think this is very bullish. And folks, be sure to check my interview with Solana's head of institutional growth. His name is Nick Dukoff, and I interviewed him just recently, and I published that interview this morning. So if you want to learn about all the great things that is happening in the Solana ecosystem, be sure to check out that interview. Once again, it was published earlier today. Now, look at this. Big adoption news for Chainlink. Many of you know I'm bullish on Chainlink. I hold it in my portfolio. So Coinbase tweeted out, we've selected Chainlink CCIP as the exclusive bridge provider to bring Coinbase wrapped assets to new blockchains. Together, we'll expand to new ecosystems using battle-hardened infrastructure. Remember that Chainlink is the connector. It allows blockchains to connect and move information. A lot of TradFi companies are using Chainlink's CCIP and much more. So that's why I'm bullish on this project. Obviously, do your own research, but I've been beating the drum here on Chainlink for a long time. So hope you guys recognize what's happening. Now, look at this news. This is incredible. It's a sign of the times and mass adoption that's coming. YouTube now allows US content creators to get paid in PayPal's stablecoin, which is PYUSD. Many of you may have caught my interview with Larry Wade of PayPal. I interviewed him at Chainlink SmartCon, and we talked a bit about PYUSD and much more. And I hope to have some more folks from PayPal on the podcast soon. But YouTube, I mean, right now, this content is available on YouTube, so you're probably watching it right now. But the fact that YouTube is enabling this, that you can get paid out in a stable coin, folks, think about that, right? And this is very bullish. You can imagine that Amazon, Walmart, Google, and obviously YouTube's owned by Google, but stablecoins are going to be integrated in different ways. So YouTube enabled US content creators to receive their earnings in PayPal stablecoin PYUSD. The move highlights how major tech firms, including Apple, Airbnb, and X, are increasingly exploring stablecoins as payout rails. YouTube's use of PYUSD marks one of the most prominent examples of PayPal stablecoin being used for creator monetization, expanding its role beyond back-end payments into consumer-facing income streams. Huge news here, folks. So I need to check this out, as far as my monetization payout, and I want to test this out. So I'm going to try to get the PYUSD stablecoin here. So I'll report back to you guys, once I've completed it. Okay, final news item. Pakistan signs an MOU with Binance to explore tokenizing up to $2 billion in sovereign bonds, T-bills, and commodity reserves. So today, CZ, founder of Binance, and also Justin Sun, they were in Pakistan doing a lot of things and signing the agreement and much more. So smart move here by Pakistan, but I think even bigger win for Binance because they're spreading themselves across the globe as the world's largest exchange and, helping these countries to adopt crypto and blockchain tech. So, folks, things are gearing up. I know some of you are going to say, Tony, what about the price, bro? Folks, be patient. Be patient. Remember, quantitative easing has officially started today. And the Fed is going to purchase over 40 billion in treasury bills over the next 30 days. The liquidity will start hitting the markets. Let the market do its thing. Regardless of if it's just a relief rally for Bitcoin or we're going to new all-time highs, we know a rally's coming, right? So we've been in extreme fear. We're starting to see the reversal, but it just takes time. If you go look at the chart, the Bitcoin chart, go look at what happened in the last correction and the one before that. It's a chop. It's annoying. It's slow, but you got to be patient, right? And then as Bitcoin does its thing, I do believe that the altcoins will catch up. So patience is the key here, folks. All right, folks, a great way you can support the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free on Substack. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital, and my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto. Check it out. Go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.